Hi, I'm Bob from World 5 List, and from giant medieval cities in Africa to lost civilizations that were found again, here are 6 cities in ruins that remain a mystery even to this day. Number 6. Great Zimbabwe. The enormous walled city of Great Zimbabwe, which is located in the southeastern hills of Zimbabwe, is known as one of the greatest mysteries of southern Africa. Great Zimbabwe peaked from 1200 until 1450, during which time it had as many as 30,000 residents. Wealth from distant lands flowed into the city, which was at the heart of a trade region that reached as far as China or India. Additionally, Great Zimbabwe's local mines and large cattle herds made it rich in gold. Equipped with walls that are 20 meters in height, the medieval city is suspected to have been used as a royal palace for the Zimbabwean monarch. Although experts have established that the city was technologically advanced, the extent of its influence and industries still remain unknown. Even more mysteriously, Great Zimbabwe suffered a decline that so far is unexplainable. Baffled scholars speculate that political instability, changes in trade routes, exhaustion of the mining industry, and famine caused by overgrazing may have had something to do with the downfall. In other words, the city may have fallen due to a shortage of resources, but this theory is yet to be proven by experts. Number 5. Çatalhöyük, Turkey. From 7400 BC to 6200 BC, up to 8,000 people lived in Çatalhöyük, making it one of the world's earliest urban settlements. The unique city, which was located in the southern Anatolian region of Turkey, was designed and built like a honeycomb. Homes and buildings which were accessed by doors cut into the roofs with shared walls. People essentially treated the roofs like streets, strolling across them and using ladders to access their living quarters below. The deceased loved ones were buried beneath the home's floor, and the shared rooftop space also contained communal ovens. Now, while Çatalhöyük isn't the oldest or largest Neolithic-era settlement, its contents are invaluable in understanding of early artwork. The site, which was discovered in the 1950s by British archaeologist James Millar and excavated between 1961 and 65, proved to be a treasure trove of artifacts like pottery, paintings, and statues. Art was a major part of daily life for the town's residents, as evidenced by the abundance of it that they left behind. To give you an idea, nearly every household that's been excavated contains artwork on the walls, and there's even evidence that there was art that was redone seasonally or even monthly. Zigzags, geometric designs, and images of animals and people were popular themes of the artwork that was found there. The 9,000-year-old town also bears evidence of mankind's transition from nomadic customs like hunting and gathering to plant farming and domestication of animals. What ultimately became of Çatalhöyük? Well, nobody really knows, and little to no information is available about the demise of the ancient town, which was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2012. Number 4. Palenque, Mexico. Palenque, Mexico was known in the ancient world as La Cama, which literally translates to big water. And in the 7th century, it flourished and was a hustling, bustling place. However, all that's left of the original Palenque are ruins dating back between 226 BC and 799 AD. The tomb of Palenque's most famous ruler, PICCHU the Great, was excavated from the site's temple of inscriptions. Historians have pieced together significant portions of the city's past by examining the hieroglyphics on many of its monuments. Among other findings are extensive histories and rivalries with other states and the sequence of its ruling dynasty throughout the 5th century. Palenque was abandoned sometime after 800 AD, and the collapse of the Mayan Empire as a whole remains largely a mystery even to this day, even in the scientific community. As things currently stand, even experts can do little more than speculate about how or why this advanced civilization, which dominated parts of Mexico, Belize, Honduras, and Guatemala, just simply seemed to vanish without a trace. Many modern inhabitants of Mexico and Central America are of Mayan descent, but by the end of the 1400s, all of Maya's great cities had been abandoned and fallen into ruin. Nobody knows why. Several theories exist, including famine, warfare, and climate change, but for now, that's all they are: theories. The excavated portion of Palenque amounts to roughly 1 square mile, which scientists estimate is only 10% of the ancient city's total area, the rest of which remains shrouded by the dense foliage of the jungle. Palenque has become a popular tourist destination, receiving over 920,000 visitors in 2017 alone. Number 3. Cahokia, United States. If you're ever traveling through St. Clair County, Illinois, which is directly across the Mississippi River from St. Louis, Missouri, you can gain a first-hand look at the remains of a pre-Columbian city that was a thriving metropolis for hundreds of years before Europeans set foot on North American soil. Known as Cahokia, the once prosperous city is thought to have had a population similar to that of modern-day London. Cahokia was built by a group of Native Americans, known as the Mississippians, who occupied a large portion of what would eventually become the southern United States. Most modern-day Americans might think of Native Americans as being primitive, when in actuality, they built Cahokia as a thriving and advanced city for its time. From its conception in 1000 AD, the city had been planned atop the massive man-made earthen mounds that it's best known for. More than 120 of the mounds were constructed within the 6-by-9-mile city's borders, and in addition to hosting its fair share of urban planners who relied on astrology to map the city's layout, Cahokia's population consisted of farmers, hunters, and traders. Moreover, it was also a popular place for religious pilgrimage. Despite its success, though, it was mysteriously abandoned by 1350 AD, and its seemingly sudden decline can't be attributed to war, disease, or even European conquest. In fact, it wouldn't be until 1540 that the first white man, Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, stepped foot into the region. Scholars have developed several theories to possibly explain why its inhabitants abandoned it, including the exhaustion of natural resources, extended droughts, climate change, and political or social unrest. Whatever the cause, Cahokia is conspicuously absent from Native American folklore, only furthering the mystery. Number 2. DERINKUYU, Turkey. Now, when the huge ancient underground city of DERINKUYU actually began is unknown, but it's definitely dating back to the early Byzantine Empire, and perhaps as early as the 7th century BC. Located in the Cappadocia region of central Turkey, it reached its greatest size somewhere between 500 and 1000 AD. As an underground civilization would begin to thrive, people dug into the soft volcanic rock to make more rooms and tunnels. And at its peak, DERINKUYU was 5 stories deep, or about 250 feet down, and had kitchens, a church, a wine distillery, and room for 20,000 or more people, along with their livestock. Out of around 200 underground cities in the Cappadocia region, DERINKUYU was both the largest and the deepest, and was a sanctuary city of sorts, hosting Christian refugees who had fled both anti-Christian Romans and anti-Christian Muslims. DERINKUYU also contained a number of safety features, which included narrow passageways that forced people to walk single file, doors that only opened or closed from the inside, and holes in the middle of the doors that could have been used as peepholes or possibly even for shooting arrows. Sometime after the 10th century, though, the city was sealed up, and perhaps there was no longer a perceived need for refuge, or maybe something more sinister was at play. Number 1. Machu Picchu, Peru. Located approximately 50 miles northwest of Cusco, Peru, and perched above on the Urubamba River, Machu Picchu was discovered in 1911 by Yale lecturer and explorer Hiram Bingham. and remains a huge tourist destination to this day. Bingham mistakenly believed that he had found the lost city of the Inca and adamantly defended his findings as such for around 50 years after the initial discovery. However, Bingham was wrong, and he might have been okay with it if he could have predicted how significant and popular Machu Picchu would become. The site would be found nearly intact, and the pre-Columbian ruins proved to be both monumental to tourists and scholars alike. Paradoxically, though, the extensively studied and well-known historic site, along with the Inca Empire in general, still remains shrouded in mystery. What researchers do know is that for hundreds of years before the Spanish invaded the Inca territory, the empire dominated parts of present-day Peru, Chile, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Argentina. Even more specifically, Machu Picchu bears telling evidence of the advanced technology, architecture, and agriculture that was used at the time by the Incas. The estate would be built by the Incas at around 1450, and a century later, around the time of the Spanish conquest, Machu Picchu would be abandoned. Not only are researchers stumped as to what caused the Incas to leave it, but they aren't quite sure of the site's purpose and use. Perhaps the cryptic nature of the ancient city's remains are one of the things that draw over 1 million curious and fascinated tourists to the site annually. In 2007, the UNESCO World Heritage Site was named one of the new 7 Wonders of the World. Thanks for watching! What do you think happened to these civilizations? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you liked and you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time on World 5.